of Star Wars Outlaws. For those who don't know, Star Wars Outlaws massively undersold. Did not get anywhere near the expectations that Ubisoft had for it. Just a complete 2 thumbs down flop, and it did horribly. So these were games that they were kind of like banking on and hoping that they were going to do well, and they both did not. So what they did is they actually delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was supposed to release this fall, along with the big gaming season, right? All the hot games. They were expecting that the game was going to do well, but instead it completely, was getting panned by everyone. You had basically the entire country of Japan calling them a bunch of disingenuous people for lying about Japanese history with the character of Yasuke, right? And then you had other people saying, yeah, it doesn't look that good or whatever. So all these games that they're banking on, and it doesn't look like they're going to do well, so they delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows to like February of next year. So this is, again, this is a rumor. This is not necessarily 100% true. But there's rumblings in the industry that the Guillemot family, because the Yves Guillemot and his family are basically the owners of Ubisoft, they're looking to sell. They want to sell the company, right? And of all people, the company that they're looking to sell to is Tencent, the Chinese-run gaming company. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, let me put it this way. I've told you guys for the last decade, I don't think there's been one correct management decision by Yves Guillemot. I don't think that he knows what the hell he's doing with his company. I think he's out of touch with modern gamers and gaming in general. So he just keeps making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And it's now come to the point he's made so many bad decisions that he doesn't think he can right the ship anymore. Honestly, I think that's a good thing. I think that he does need to step down, to be quite honest. All right, sorry everyone, I got distracted. There were some zombies in my house. I had to go take care of them. But anyway, so we've all been saying for the last decade that Yves Guillemot has not been doing a good job of running this company. He keeps making bad decisions. I mean, think about this. His biggest franchise, Assassin's Creed, he runs it into the ground, then decides the best thing we should do is copy our competitors of Witcher 3, and for the greater part of 5 plus 6 plus years, makes the entire franchise just copy Witcher. Then says, oh, wait, that's not working anymore. Let's go back to the old formula. Now nothing works, right? Because now Assassin's Creed has completely lost his identity, right? It just doesn't have an identity anymore. It had one a long time ago, but now you've got Ghost of Tsushima doing it better. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. Like, if you really think about Ubisoft, at one point they were synonymous with big IPs and gaming greatness, right? Like, you would think Assassin's Creed, Rayman. Now when you hear Ubisoft, like, what do you even think of? Do you even think of, like, a single franchise that's like, oh, yeah, that big franchise that Ubisoft does that everyone likes? No, and that's a shame because they had that. They totally had that, and they squandered it, right? For sure. Yeah, whatever happened to Beyond Good and Evil? Oh, boy. Don't get started with that one. So anyway, am I shocked to hear that they're looking to sell? Well, yes and no. No, because they're doing poorly, but I thought if you have someone in charge who doesn't know what they're doing, just get them out of there and get someone there who knows how to run a company, right? You can hire someone else to man the ship. You don't have to sell the ship, right? Like, that's it. Like, well, we don't know how to run it, so we're going to sell it instead. Well, why don't you just hire someone who knows what they're doing so that your company can be successful again instead of just giving up? That's what it feels like. When you hear this news, you're like, so they're basically throwing the towel in. They've given up on being able to do anything of intelligence or, wisdom. Fuck it. Just sell it and make a big profit and run. And I hate to say it, but that basically means they don't give a shit. They never gave a shit about their company, about the products they sold. They were just trying to make money. And maybe that's the reason why Ubisoft has been so bad in the last 10 years, is because instead of trying to make good games that are meaningful to the gaming community, that are making unique cultural experiences that everyone talks about and wants to share, instead they're trying to make money printing ventures to line their pockets. And since they can't do that successfully anymore, now they're going to ditch their company, right? That's pretty fucking sad, to be honest. So in regards to this, I don't know how I feel because I'm not exactly sure that we're going to have a situation where selling this to Tencent's going to do any better. And quite frankly, whenever you see a big sale like this happens, you want to know what really happens? People get laid off. People lose their jobs. And these people are busting their butts, trying to make good games, right? And now they're going to lose their jobs because the people in charge made bad decisions. I want you to think about that. Again, we've talked about this endlessly here on the Level 1 podcast. Big person in charge of a big company makes a terrible decision. Who suffers for it? Is it the person at the top who made the bad decision, or is it everyone underneath? It's always everyone underneath, and I just don't fucking understand that. I want someone to explain to me how it makes sense that someone is directly in charge of a company, makes awful decision after awful decision, tanks the company, and they get out of there rich, and everyone below them loses their job. How the fuck does that work? Even if you are rich, right? How does that make sense? I understand that there's like this upper echelon of people who want to remain in power, but how does it make sense if someone has failed miserably as a leader? Why would you want to protect them? Right? Trial by fire, baby. You had your chance. And if you couldn't stand the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen and let someone else step up to do it. But don't punish the people below. You should be the one who has the consequences. Why are they going to allow these people who have run their company into the ground now for 10 years to go away with their golden parachutes, and everyone else underneath will suffer? I just don't understand it. Really, I don't get it. I don't understand this is how the corporate way. It sounds to me like what's happened is there's an upper part of our human society who are so rich, they are protected from any consequences whatsoever for their entire lives. They can commit crimes. They can do horrible things running businesses. They could do heinous actions that are behind the scenes that you don't know about, or they could even be public. And it doesn't matter what they do, they always get away with it because they're rich. No repercussions. On to the next big venture where they also have no repercussions of. I just don't understand this. I don't get how we even allowed this at all. I'm very confused how we created a society where we have this upper crust protected class of people who can do whatever the fuck they want. Why? Why do we allow that? And when are we going to stop it? Right? Anyway, so it's a sad story. It's a rumor. Nothing's going through yet, but the rumor is that there's serious talks about it. And yeah, I can tell you right now, here's what'll happen. They'll get sold. Half the divisions will be closed. Probably thousands of employees will lose their jobs. They'll probably consolidate a lot of work into other existing Tencent studios, or, split the work up differently. You know what I'm saying? And probably what'll happen is a lot of these IPs will go away. No lie. Like, forget Watch Dogs will never come back. Rayman will probably be sold. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tencent buys them. They might just sell a lot of their IPs off to other companies. That I would not be shocked at. Imagine that. Take some of these dead IPs that have been on the shelf for a while and just start selling them off in different directions so that way they can make profits. That wouldn't be shocking to me at all. So I guess we'll see what happens. It's a sad story from a company that used to be genuinely one of the biggest companies in gaming. I remember when I started on YouTube, Ubisoft was at the tippity top and we're on an upward trend. Again, they had Assassin's Creed. They had the Splinter Cell series. They had, is Tom Clancy under Ubisoft? I don't remember. But I know Splinter Cell was. I know Assassin's Creed was. Rayman was. And then they announced Watch Dogs, and that was huge. So they had like 4 or 5 big-ass IPs. I'm being told, yes, Splinter Cell's under there too. I mean, not Splinter Cell, excuse me, Tom Clancy. So Tom Clancy games at one point, right, were humongous. They were coming out with 1 million Tom Clancy games, and what happened to those, right?